Just about ready to see. Maybe I should turn up the noise gate because,
Maybe.
or learn to use the cough button.
There's a cough button?
There is.
When did we get one of those?
Apparently, it's been here all along.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a really low energy episode, isn't it? You ready now?
I just used the cough button.
Oh.
Let me demonstrate.
You still got too much of the cough on there.
I intentionally cut it off halfway.
Oh, that's what you're going with?
That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Yeah, I started coughing and then I hit the cough button.
Got it.
Just illustrate.
You gonna welcome the people?
Let's kick this thing here.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Drake and the Maestro. Almost relevant and almost coherent.
Well, definitely almost coherent.
Yeah, I'm back.
You're mostly back. You're just taking a slight break.
So, I was gone. I had an involuntary vision quest, otherwise known as flu, bronchitis, pneumonia.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right, Sweet Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I got time for that. No way out. Nobody got time for that.
You got time for it. You're retired. You got time for it.
It has not been pleasant, let's just say.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I caught a cocktail of viruses. Like, did I go by Wuhan lab or something by mistake? Gonna
go there, huh?
Well, the report's out. I figured, was it too soon?
Too soon. It's always too soon. Nobody wants to talk about it no more. We heard about it for 4 years. We're done.
Anyway, I got the symptoms of a whole bunch of different infirmities all at the same time. So if you get flu, right, you get the flu. I'm going to be using the cough button a lot, listeners, so just so you know. So you get the button. Oh,
button. Who's got the button?
Where you get the achy muscles and kind of the
Not to be confused with the Billy Ray Cyrus, which is the achy breaky heart.
Right, that's a different virus.
Yeah.
And you get like the orifices are leaking and stuff like that, right? Well, you get that.
Who wants to hear about your orifices?
And add stomach flu to that, and then add an ear infection to that, and then add bronchitis to that, all at once.
Oh, gee. This is why we can't have nice things.
Well, certainly why I can't. By the way, I've got all this extra toothpaste. I don't know where it came from, but if you need toothpaste, I've got it.
No, I think I'm okay without your toothpaste.
Yeah, I don't
need orange juice flavored toothpaste this time.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know where I've been either. It's been, I think
nobody knows. That's why we couldn't do a podcast last time.
I saw a manatee at one point. No.
Oh, did he give you his name?
No, we didn't exchange pleasantries.
Oh, that's Julian.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah. What did you do for the podcast thing? Because
we just used some. We went reviews of song. That helped.
Oh, that helped, but not much. No.
But not much. No.
But I want to thank the intrepid listeners for sticking with us in our time
definitely
of trial.
Well, some of us.
So what led up
time of trial?
So teaches me never, to be out, to probably not go out and do stuff during cold and flu season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's generally a good lesson to learn. Most people learn that when they're like 20.
Well, I don't know. I mean, have you seen the fights on Black Friday? I mean, come on.
I've seen the fights. I've not participated, unfortunately. So for me,
I think I picked this up on my escapade, on my outing with the van and other destinations. Going to get the van looked at, because remember we get that. There's the ongoing saga of the suspension on the van.
Leaky bits.
The leaky bit. And I get out to the van, and I'm going to frame this the other day, even though it's several weeks ago.
The other day.
And I'm looking at the wheel because I like to look at things. I like to see things.
You see things while you do things? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Boy, are you special?
But so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the appearance, and all of a sudden here's these streaks of oil coming out of the windows in the wheel on the passenger front.
Wow.
Well, that's not good. And then
That's
I
not
looked
supposed
down.
to do that.
Yeah, right. And I looked down on the floor, and there's a puddle. Not a big one, but
It's a
there's a
little
puddle
poodle.
there.
It's a little poodle.
It's a poodle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that ain't good. And back the van out, and she's a dripping, you know. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, and it's a light viscous oil, you know, like an engine oil, because it uses synthetic engine oil.
And
And
most
it's
cars
got
do
some,
these days.
yeah, it's got some brownish color to it. I'm like, ah, crap. The only thing that I can think of that has oil flowing
That
into
color.
that area is the turbo.
Yeah.
The turbo is right there.
Yep.
So, oh, you know,
No,
every now and
no.
again, these engines do have turbo oiling issues, you know, their oil lines or the turbo itself. I'm like, that's great, just out of warranty, and, you know, perfect.
Well, that's just the way that works.
It is. It is. And I think we covered
You know, it's got a lifetime.
little.
It's got a lifetime warranty, and
in-
its lifetime is expired.
Yeah. So I'm making an appointment with the service department. get in the van, start heading into town. Figure, well, I'll combine some errands.
Trip.
And it'll be one of those recon visits to the dealer. You know what I'm saying? Where you bring
They
it
look
in,
at it. They don't do anything.
They look at it. They've got no parts, and they'll order them and then bring it back. Right? It's a recon.
Yep.
So
they tell you it's
I'm just
screwed.
You drove this here? Holy crap!
That's right. Oh man, how did you do that?
Why aren't you? And why haven't you perished in a big fireball? Just lucky. Hey. So I'm driving. I'm getting heading out on the highway. You know, with Rob Halford.
Yeah. Head out to that highway.
And going
Great,
through
now
the twists and turns and the bends, and I see something flashing on the left side of the road. Just a glint of something gold and shiny. Right?
Ooh,
so
shiny.
Golden shiny. So being, part redneck, I immediately fixated
and
on
squirrel.
That. Right. Ooh, shiny. Ooh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is that? It's just it's a couple of feet off the ground and kind of maybe being affected by the wind, right?
Maybe.
And it just flashes in the sun, whatever it is. And I get closer, it's like there's two of those things, whatever those are. And I'm getting closer. I'm closer. And I'm like, I'm gonna slow down. What
This could be
is this?
something.
So I get up to it. It's 2 Mylar balloons, right?
No.
I'm thinking, someone must have had a birthday party or whatever, or some unfortunate
Balloon got
kid
away.
was dangling the balloons out the window and whoosh, But no, this was intentional because they're tied to the legs of a roadkill deer, and it says "Get well soon."
They're doing the.
It's a living meme or a dead meme.
They're doing the meme. They're doing an old school meme. I saw that with a raccoon once. I was like, so we had found a raccoon on the side of the road. They just tied a "Get well soon" balloon to it, and I was like, oh, that's really funny.
And as it turns out that from there,
turns out that style of humor. Well,
it was good. It was someone, whoever it was. My compliments. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, compliments to the chef. Yeah.
Yes, that's great. So I get to the dealer. They lifted it, and they do their thing, and they come back, and they say, "Well, we think this is just leaking. It's nothing really leaking. The turbo's dry and all that." I said, "Well, you know what? When I looked at it, I didn't see a leak in the turbo either. I didn't. The whole area was dry, but I thought maybe a line that goes across the frame.
Who knows? Yeah, you never know."
So but the grease from the drive axle that was replaced was never really completely cleaned up. Remember that? It was like the whole inside of the frame was frosted. Yeah, it was like frosting.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's like someone went crazy with the Betty Crocker buttercream, let loose on the.
Well, we can thank that because that's how you learn. That's how you learned about the wheels you have now.
Yes, that is correct, sir.
So you got
it
that to thank for it.
Works out. That's right.
That's right. It all comes back around.
So they say, well, we're just going to take it over to the other, because I guess this dealer owns all different domestic brands. They like Ford,
it's Chrysler,
Chevy,
Jeep, Dodge, Ford, Chevy, Nissan, Altima. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, all the brands.
Yeah.
So they have to bring it over to Chevy because Chevy got the detailer and all that. So they bring it up there and they detail and they washed and waxed and everything. It was great.
Gave you the old wash and wax, huh? Did you get the undercoating while you were there? Oh, he's busy hacking up along. Hang on, folks.
That's it. Yeah, golf button. So I said, well, we just must not have washed off all that grease completely, which at the same, when we're going to get that done, and it's the same, I had two mixed emotions about that. Well, what the, you guys didn't wash it the first time? Secondly, gonna get it washed. Okay, great. So they wash it, they wax it, comes back looking like it did off the showroom floor. It's great. They did a really good job.
$1,000,000?
I asked, I said, well, finally found someone who can wash the van. Can you how much would you guys charge to wash it on a regular basis? And it's,
It'll be $300.
Right. Yeah. Oh, so you're no different than the detailer down the street. Got it. He's oh no, we'll be happy to wash for you every time you bring it in for service. So great, right?
I don't know how to feel about that.
Got that all worked out. And get to the van, and remember we're talking about the Bluetooth controller of the lights.
Oh boy!
They drove it back from the detail shop, and whatever happened something happened at the detail shop, and the van was not happy about it because all the lights were on the control. I have been nowhere near this van. Who has tried to probe what of the? Because it's just sitting there like. No, I hurt. What's going on? What did you do?
He sprayed my engine compartment.
Right. Something like that. Yeah, it was something like that. And I
His hands, they're always touching me in places.
They look different. I cleaned them.
You monster.
I connected. I got to turn on the Bluetooth on my phone. I connected to the controller, and I kept hitting the buttons to turn the lights off. And it's like, no, it hurts.
I don't want to.
It was connected. It was not like I wasn't connected. It was just like, no.
I mean, he really sprayed that Bluetooth controller down, didn't he? He really hosed that thing.
That's not easy place to get to either. I mean, they really. Well, let's see if we can make something malfunction. I think when they sprayed it and the lights turned on. It was like, okay, whoo.
It's clean.
It's right.
It's the van. It was the van telling him it's done. Bing, all the lights come on.
It's enough already. Well, what probably happened is the lights came on. The guy looked into the light, and now he's, blind.
So you'll never get a good detail from there again because he's now blind.
No, I'll just never get an engine compartment wash because they'll be like, no.
How about
remember what happened No. Right. So we got that sorted out finally to convince the van. And I think you're right. I think it was just a matter of letting it dry out a little bit. Because finally the buttons for the lights that were on lit up. They weren't lit before, even though I was connected. They lit up and I was able to turn them off. And then as soon as I pull out on the road, one light goes back on all by itself.
It hadn't had enough yet. It hadn't been shown who's boss enough yet.
Yeah, the passenger side amber fog decided to turn itself on. I wouldn't have known except I saw the glare in the car in front of me. Like, oops. So I turn it off, and then it's like, no, and it turns itself back on. But at least the controller's responding. I can see the buttons light up this time. So then we know over to Wally World, where I'm sure that's where I picked up this petri dish of iniquity.
Well, at least you didn't pick it up in a den of iniquity.
Right. No, that's the house next across the road.
Right.
Yeah. So we did the whole, and then come back and because we're picking up supplies for making the Thanksgiving dinner. Because I've been drafted into making the Thanksgiving turkey and dressing and all that every year, which I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind.
You keep saying that, maybe you'll believe it.
Well, no, we've got it down to a whole system now. It's all like a production.
I know.
Line. It just goes.
No, just the way you said, I don't mind. It just sounds like you were trying to convince yourself.
Really, I don't mind. And that, I don't know if you saw it in the van. We had it's a big turkey. It's like 24 pounds.
Gobble, gobble.
Right. That turkey had a union card, man.
Yeah. Gobble.
So, and I don't know if you saw it, but in the van we had the hydraulic lifting table.
No, I didn't see it.
So
you thought I was looking around in the van while I was there? I had things to do.
Sometimes people notice things. I don't know. It'll be a curious thing to be sitting in the back of the van. Which
was it for the turkey?
Yeah, it's for the turkey. right? So you get the
turkey.
serving tureen or whatever for the turkey's in, and then you put it in because it's so heavy. I mean, you just put it on the hydraulic. Just pump the table up and then slide the turkey onto the table and then roll that into the van. Put it up on the lift.
That's the fattest thing I've heard since I watched Steven Seagal fatly go around corners.
No. This is okay. Right, granted, 24, 25 pounds, not a huge amount of weight. Right?
No, I mean, I know you're in a wheelchair, hard to lift.
No.
It's funny.
Right. It's funny on many levels. Because, the fancy restaurants, they bring out the silver cart, and they have the meals on, they wheel that out.
Right, this is like the redneck version of that.
Yeah, it's a hydraulic lifting table. It's had transmissions on it. It had
engines. I've stood on that table to do things.
Right. Which and that has been one of the best investments of tools I've made. That hydraulic table.
That and the rollerblade wheels for the little stool.
Yeah,
those rollerblade wheels, man. Holy cow! Yeah.
Well, and I think everything gets rollerblade wheels, right? Because my office chair has them. I put them on my office chairs.
I was trying to find things that I have that I could put those wheels on.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what I would use them for, but I want them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, the listeners out there, if you have one of those just consumer grade or even professional office chairs, or a mechanic's stool or mechanic's saddle that's got the stupid
it's got one of those
caster.
the little plastic wheels, the little plastic casters. Get yourself some rollerblade casters and yank those suckers out. Yank the old plastic ones out. Put the rollerblade wheels in and thank us later.
Right, that's right.
Because those rollerblade wheels made such a difference.
Oh yeah, you zip around like you're in the office chair.
Yeah, you could zip around like it's nothing. If you're not paying attention, you'll roll away. If you're on even a mild incline, you lift your feet up, you just start rolling away. Like, wait a minute.
It's good time for one and all.
Yeah, fun times will be had by all involved.
So what we got the lifting table. Could put the turkey out because we've had the turkey overpower the serving tray, right, and go for a walkabout. Or
I hate when my turkey goes for a walkabout.
Yeah. So putting it on the lifting table to bring it in to transport it isn't so crazy.
Oh, I didn't say it was crazy. I just said it was fat.
No, it's not.
I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it.
It's a matter of control.
I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. I'm just saying it's a fat thing to do. Whether it's a legitimate thing or not, it's still a fat thing to do. It's still funny.
All right. Well, I'll take walrus credits for that, please.
Yeah, that's a walrus strategy right there. Because no normal person is going to think of that strategy. They're going to try to muscle it, or they'll get another person to help them, or something like that. It won't be, let's put it on the hydraulic lifting mechanics cart and use that.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
So that's what was done. So we were getting it all ready to go. We got the turkey wrapped up in its going to town jacket, to keep it warm while we're going to my sister's place.
It's town jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Little insulated jacket.
Got it in its happy place.
Uh-huh. Roll it out, get that loaded up, get my chair loaded up, get all the dressing and everything loaded up, get all this stuff. Right?
All the better things.
And this is the very next day from taking the van into the shop. And I'm feeling pretty good. Hey, van's clean. It's, I don't have this expensive repair to do, and everything's good, right?
Uh-huh.
And I get in the van, sit down in the driver's seat, start her up, put her in gear, put on the brake, right, to put it in gear, right?
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden the dash turns red. It says low brake fluid. Like, oh no, I think I found the leak.
Oh no, we suck again.
Exactly. Like, oh crap. So
come on. I mean, in the same vein, I have a car that I leave up here for when I'm home to drive from the house where I park the truck to the house, and it currently won't start at all.
Yeah, well, it's been in the deep freeze.
Yeah, and it's still not starting. I went over and tried it while I was preparing for the podcast, and it still won't start. So I think that it's just done. It said, "I've had enough. You've abused me enough. I'm done here."
Well, when you say not start,
I mean nothing. No click. No nothing. Just silence.
Oh, okay. Talk to me off the podcast about that.
Yeah, I will.
Because I think I have a resolution.
Neat.
I don't remember what I was saying.
That's okay. You wasn't important anyway. Because I have things to talk about.
Well, I got to tell you, I got to get up. Well, I was at the service department, right? I'm sitting there, running my own business. Truly, honestly, not bothering anyone except maybe my wife.
The first problem.
I was probably annoying her because I always do that.
Well, that's important. Somebody's got to do that. That's important work.
Well, the service department was playing Google That Tune. They were stuck on a tune from my era. There was Cream, right? Sunshine of Your Love, and they're all the counter kids are all like do 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 do, and one guy's like, okay, wait a minute, right? How do I Google that? And he's typing into Google do 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 do. I was really trying to stay on the sidelines. I finally, right. I found like, it's Sunshine of Your Love, Cream. And by the way, what kind of returns did you get when you Googled do?
Probably about the same kind of returns that I got. The same kind of returns that I got when I was trying to Google Hocus Pocus Focus.
Yeah.
Based on the melody that I could remember.
And then it said, well, it did give me one site where I was supposed to turn on the computer microphone and sing the tune into it.
Yeah, you can do that. I tried that on Google. It didn't work.
I said, okay, I want to wait for that. Let's see what happens when you do that. He's like, no. That was funny. Googling do. How do you spell that exactly?
How do you spell that? Okay, my turn now. So we'll start.
All right.
We'll go in from most recent to least recent events. I was returning from visiting the Drake last night, and to help, I tried to correct him on his involuntary vision quest. I think that's why he's better now. I was able to slap him out of it, but
I still don't want to know what's with all the toothpaste.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know what that's for. Anyway, I was on the way home, and my very good friend called me. I don't know if we're using names on this podcast, so I won't.
No, you have a friend? That's amazing.
I do. I know, it's crazy. In my reclusive ways, yes. But he called me and he said, "Hey, the Rural King in Rantoul is going out."
We should have hired George Newman because he's got imagination.
That's right. He said the Rural King in Rantoul is going out of business. They're shutting down.
He said sad.
It is kind of sad. That wasn't what he called me about. He called me because he was there getting clothes for his son, and he said they have 5XL Carhartt jackets at 40% off. I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what yeah." So I instead of going straight home, I stopped there and I got 2 jackets for $100 of their warmest.
You called home. I called the Braidwood Inn.
Oh, the Braidwood Inn.
Oh, I missed that one. So you only got 2 jackets? Well, I guess.
Well, they only had 2 and 5XL, but that's fine. I only needed 2.
Okay then.
I got a black one. I got a black one and a brown one. And I've always wanted the brown ones. They fit great. And they're very warm. They're well insulated. And they're like the duck fabric, like the like, for listeners out there that don't know, Google duck fabric, Carhartt duck fabric. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's that very stereotypical, like tannish brown color fabric that you see in like movies and stuff where guys on working class gentlemen. It's been around forever. I think it's some kind of cotton, like heavy duty cotton.
Oh, it says, I think it's a canvas type thing.
Yeah. Well, canvas is a cotton. Anyway. So that's the most recent thing.
Except for the stuff that isn't.
Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious.
Anytime.
Go back to your vision quest.
I don't know. I'm having fun here.
Don't let me get the toothpaste. So the other thing that happened was I was delivering.
Sure.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't just if you might be coughing up mint for a few days. Don't worry about it.
That explains this strange. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the brushing sensation in your lungs. Yeah, don't worry about that. I'm delivering in Chicago to the Department of Transportation in Chicago for the city of Chicago. So I'm delivering to the people that like. So if you live in Chicago, the people that put up all your light poles and maintain the electrical, like the lights and the electrical stuff in Chicago, for the city of Chicago. I was delivering to one of their warehouses. I'm going to put that in quotes, warehouses. And
it was like
they
a bunch of union guys there.
Yeah, a bunch of government union guys. Of course, they all go home at 2:30. They weren't on break.
And they're reading a newspaper.
The paperwork says call 48 hours in advance. Well, I got the paperwork yesterday or the day before, and
48 hours.
Right, and I had called him when I got the paperwork because it said 48 hours. I'm like, oh, I'll be there tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe they'll be okay. So I call the guy. It just goes straight to voicemail. Oh,
of course
man.
It does. Of course.
Right. So I called him again. I gave it a few minutes. Maybe he was on a phone call or something. So
going down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. So I waited I'd be like 20, 30 minutes. I was like, maybe he's on a phone call. Maybe he's on lunch, get his phone off, whatever. I'll just give him a few and then I'll call him back. So I gave him a few and I called him back. Straight to voicemail again. So I left him a voicemail. So, hey, this is so-and-so working for this company. I'm coming to your location on Ashland Avenue. I'll be there tomorrow. Give me a call so we can figure out a time that works best for you guys or a day that works best for you guys at this number. Give me a call back at this number. Didn't hear anything from him all the rest of the night or the next morning while I was waiting at my stop. So I called him again, straight to voicemail. Oh, no, this guy's probably on vacation or something. So I called my company. I'm like, hey, I cannot get a hold of the stop. We need to figure out a different way to contact these people because no one's answering the phone. So they spend the better part of 3 hours calling the city of Chicago, basically different numbers for the city of Chicago.
Right.
Trying to get a hold of someone.
Right.
So I Google the address and it comes up with a pin that says, CDOT, CDOT Electrical Department. I hit that. It has a phone number. Call that number. This is dispatch.
If this was a movie, you guys would be trying all these different numbers. And every time you ring a different number, you see the same phone on the wall in an old tin metal shop somewhere. It's one of those old black rotary dial phones, right?
Yeah,
mounted to a corrugated steel wall inside some mystery warehouse somewhere, right, for the city. And no matter what number you call.
Or it's behind a bunch of filing cabinets and shelves in the back of the storage room, and
something like that.
No one's used in probably 100 years. It's people just back there quietly ringing.
So if you show it, if it's in the shop, you'll see a bunch of guys reading a newspaper, and the phone's ringing. And say, "Hey, phone's ringing." The machine will get it. Of course, there's no machine; it just rings.
Right? And then is that phone? And then, hey, the phone's ringing. Yeah, we don't use that one anymore. Like it's that. It would be that. That's what would be in the movie. Hey, so finally, I get a hold of somebody.
You guys hear bells?
They all got hearing protection on while they're sitting in the lunchroom because they're supposed to have hearing protection. So no, they can't hear any of the phones ringing. Yeah.
And no matter how many different numbers you try, it always rings that phone.
That phone, right? So I finally get a hold of someone. Hey, I'm going to this address on Ashland Avenue. Is that you guys? So yeah, that's us. I say, I have light poles. Okay, cool. Who are they for? And I gave them the name of the contact. And they're, he's on vacation. Yeah, I was like, I kind of figured because me and my company have been trying to call him.
He's dead.
Right. Oh, come on. So I finally, I tell them, I was like, okay, I am in a large semi. I am, 13'6", whatever, 80 feet long. The poles are this long. They're like, you just go down to this gate at this light. You turn right.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah. So I go down.
I've heard that song.
Right. I go over there, and it took me about 2.5 hours to get over there from my first stop. And I get up there, and I get up to where I'm supposed to turn, and I'm kind of straddling two lanes because I know it's going to be a tight turn. And I get up, and I start to make the turn. And, of course, because it's Chicago, no one will let me make the right turn. If they can squeeze a car between you and the curb, they will squeeze through. Doesn't matter if you're trying to make a turn.
At 50 miles an hour.
Right. I got cars, I got a truck, I got box truck, just coming through, and I'm like, and I'm looking at the gate as they're all going by, like, oh, I can't make that turn. I couldn't make that turn unless I was on the other side of the road as far over as I could get, and then I might be able to make that turn. So I straighten out, and I pull up in the middle, and I call that number back. And I go, hey, I'm here. I can't make the turn into the gate that you guys told me to make the turn into. He's like, oh, that was a different person you talked to earlier. So who are you? I'm like, oh my gosh. So they finally, this person apparently is a little higher up in the food chain that I talked to. So they get the guy that's on vacation on the phone. And he goes, they were supposed to call 48 hours in advance. And I was like, I did. My company did. I left you 2 different voicemails on 2 different phone numbers. I don't know how much more you want me to do to try to contact you guys. So, well, my number should have been forwarded. Well, it wasn't. So to wrap this story up, I ended up coming back the next day, and they came out with a forklift, and they said that forklift wasn't big enough to lift 3,000 pounds worth of light poles, even though the weight rating on the plate said it was 8. The forklift could lift 8, and they ended up taking the poles off with a front end loader while I was still in the street.
Cool.
Oh, and they also spent, because they're union, they were very nice people, but because they're union, they also spent about 3 hours trying to put a game plan together to figure out, hey, let's get a front end loader and take these off. Like,
you would think that would be something they would do on a semi-regular basis.
You would think, since they're the Department of the Department of Transportation Electrical Division, that they would deal with light poles on a semi-regular basis and have to have them unloaded on a semi-regular basis,
and then loaded to go somewhere.
Well, they load them with their boom trucks, so they have a boom. Their boom truck will pick it up and pick up the poles individually and load them on a trailer, and that's what they were trying to do. But they were all in use.
That sounds about right.
I was like, hey, at least I'm the one wasting the taxpayers of Chicago's money this time.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
Right. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
So getting to my Thanksgiving thing, so the brake pedal goes to the floor. Well, it doesn't go to the floor. It's just the dash lights up and it says, low brake fluid. I'm like, oh. So at that point,
low battery.
I did something I have never done to that van, and that is the brake and hold test, where you put your foot down on the brake a little harder than normal and see if it holds that holds that.
Yeah, if it holds there or if it
slowly fall away. And it was ever so slowly sinking. It wasn't bad, but
it's got a pinhole in it somewhere.
Yeah. So what happened was when they hyperextended the suspension, right?
They stressed one of the lines.
They stressed the flexible hose. They probably just stretched it because two bolts to take a 4-piston caliper. I got the similar caliper style to you, where it's you've got 6 pistons, but
I've got the 4. 6 pistons
so
on the.
They're non-floating. They don't have slides. They're just
fixed.
Yeah, easy to take off. Easy. Yeah.
It's 2 bolts.
They lift right off. You hang them from the inner fender liner or something and get them out of the way. How friggin' hard? But no, and it was the same reason why
it might be is blamed him again.
Well, I'm getting censored.
You got robot.
I think that's you, eh? Anyway.
It might be me. Could be.
Yeah. It's going to be a janky episode no matter how you cut it.
I will have to apologize to the listeners. He's out of it, and I can't remember anything on a regular basis. So there's no notes. There's no structure. It's just a mess.
So the digital artifacts are just, icing on the cake.
Right, exactly. So watch this be our most popular episode ever.
This all started when I was getting the leveling springs put in, where they had to, you got to tear apart the dash to get at the top of the spring, the bearing plate.
That makes sense.
So I don't understand the logic. If you can do all the work, tear the lower part of the dash part to get at the bearing purchase for the top of the strut, so you can R&R the strut assembly, and you have to undo the pinch bolts on the strut, and you had to. How much more effort is it really undo 2 more bolts on the caliper and 1 bolt on the CV axle nut that holds the CV axle and the bearing, so that you don't hyperextend the drive shaft and you don't hyperextend the brake line? How hard is it?
Or crazy thought. You could just undo the banjo bolt from the caliper and just pull the line off.
You could. If you don't mind,
and put it higher than its mounting. Yeah, but it should have you just plug your 7-pin into the dash or 5-pin or whatever it is now, and you go bleed, and it goes and does it.
True. Right.
It's all robotic anyway, so it's not even like you have to do anything. It's not like old school where you got to push on the pedal. It's all done by wire anyway. So
yeah,
it just does it.
They cycle it through, and you hear the traction control, ABS things going. Bzzz. Yeah.
And then it's done. It's pushed all the air back up into the reservoir. You open the reservoir, release the pressure, put some more fluid in it, do it again. Done.
I know, but obviously that simple was too difficult. And removing the caliper and removing the CV nut, too difficult. It's much easier to overextend the parts and then let it come back for service again.
Now,
than do it right the first
time.
Time.
Suspension in?
That was the tire shop.
You're gonna have to go back to the tire shop. Like, you guys broke all my stuff.
Well, the dealer was picking it up under warranty. We'll see where we go from there, because I don't know if I want tire shop touching it again.
They're good for tires. Not much else.
Probably gonna have to pay for this one. No, fortunately, there was a TSB on the drive shafts with them failing.
So you got lucky on that one.
Yeah, so the dealer's just like, we'll TSB it.
We'll put it down as user. We'll put it down as manufacturer error, and we'll just move on with our lives. Now, what I would recommend is, because they had to do both sides, you might as well change the soft lines on both sides, because if one's leaking, the other one will probably start sooner or later.
Well, here's the funny thing about my van. The suspension has way more give on the driver's side than on the passenger side. So it has way more travelability. So yeah, all the problems are on the passenger front, and it's only on the all-wheel drives. And I think it's because
why would the driver's side have more?
Yeah,
whatever.
The drive shaft has more plunge. The drive shaft's because it's, I don't know if it's long. It's longer on the driver's side, and it has more plunge. So it can have the axle can swing way far down and not damage the CV joint. And apparently the way the lines are routed for the brake, also more leeway.
Oh, so, okay. Well, then never mind.
Yeah. So because I had the same thought.
Maybe they did Maybe they did the driver's side first, and they went, "Oh, this has got a lot of play in it." And they just didn't bother to check the passenger side.
Right. Yeah. Never mind the fact that you go on the passenger side and the drive shaft's barely a foot long. It's like, that should clue you in that, maybe.
Well, there's your first problem. You said clue you in.
Right. Oh, what was I thinking? I'm so sorry. So I'm like, okay, clearly we have an issue. What we even have a bigger issue is I don't have any synthetic brake fluid to make up the reservoir. Right now, that is a tactical error, but it turns out my oversight saved the family from everybody having to deal with this involuntary vision quest, because everybody was there. My mom was there. And if I would, it's like typhoid.
Well, that definitely would have been good for Grandma.
Oh no, it would have been terrible. So
terrible even.
Terrible. So I'm like, well, that's it. Right? Because one of our remember our wise sayings, right? You never push a bad position.
From last time. Never push a bad position. Yeah.
So I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going. And so, my wife packs up everything in her Corolla and takes it, and she goes, and I had a nice cup of soup or something, whatever it was. But I'm sitting there having my broth, my gruel, and Thanksgiving gruel, and
my favorite kind of gruel.
My whole body just started like, you're getting really sick, pal. I'm like, oh
you're
no,
dying.
Oh, it was bad. My wife came home and I'm like, basically a puddle on the floor,
dead on the floor. Just like,
yeah.
Kill me.
But she brought toothpaste, so that's I don't know what that's about. And I got a lot of empty orange juice
for it.
I got to come to empty orange juice containers too. I don't know where. I'm in a mountain of them. I don't know what's.
You kept asking for it.
I could review the camera in the house, but I don't think I want to know.
You might not want to. You could be a new horror film for people.
But
this is you like floating through the house, drinking orange juice and sucking on toothpaste
and spewing. There was a lot of spewing. But here's the problem.
What's the problem?
Entering Shatner mode for some reason. The van is my mobility van.
Yes.
I have no way of refilling that reservoir.
Yes.
I do now, right? Because I immediately went over, as soon as this happened, I went to my AMSOIL account and ordered the right synthetic fluid with the Ford part number for it.
Yes.
And of course, figuring whenever it arrived, I'll be able to top it off, and then I'm at least mobile again. Just be aware that no hammering down on the brakes. But in the meantime, I can't get to the doctor.
Yeah, you don't need to go to the doctor. That's just more diseases.
Correct, but the only way I'm getting out is via ambulance. There's no other way.
That could be fun.
I mean, I could pack up my walker or my folding wheelchair, and maybe we could probably make it work if we had to jam it all in the Corolla.
You're not getting it in my Challenger, that's for sure.
No, no. My sister probably would be willing to bring her big van, her Sienna van, but I don't want to involve her and get. Oh yeah, Panzer, the Toyota Panzer.
She back to a Panzer?
Yep, all-wheel drive, new one. She keeps crunching them up.
I was gonna say because she had like an Ford SUV for a little bit there.
Right. She wanted something smaller. She's like, I don't want to be, suburban mom anymore. I want to, something a little more small and nimble. And she's like, and I did everything I could to help her get it. She's just not comfortable in it. I mean, we went all over, and she tried on all these things, and yeah, she went with the little Ford. What is that? Escape, the little Ford SUV.
Escape. Yeah,
the Escape, and she's like, yeah, but it's got a sill because she's got issues. She's got health issues, and so something's very difficult for her, and she's like, I have a hard time lifting my leg over the sill. And I'm like, you know what? I said, I could do all kinds of stuff to your car, and we could probably even go as far as swapping seats. We could do, but I mean, there's nothing I can do about changing the rocker to get your feet.
Nope.
No. I mean, the only thing I could do is build up the floor, right?
Yeah.
So,
but that still doesn't get you up over. It doesn't change the sill. It just changes the level of the floor.
But it wouldn't make it easier because if you lift your leg to get up, there's no down. So it's just up, slide over, and then to get out. It was more getting out. Lift up, slide over, down, right? If I raise the floor, okay, and so we could do all that. But maybe just buy what is comfortable. And if it means you're driving a suburban mom mobile, so be it.
So be it.
I got no problem with the Sienna. I like the Sienna. It's like super comfortable.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that myself. About if I'm going to get a secondary vehicle to like run when I don't want to drive the Challenger somewhere, I'm thinking minivan.
Yeah.
Chrysler Sebring, maybe a Sienna, something.
Pacifica is really kind of cool.
Yeah, the Pacifica. That's what I meant.
I tell you what, for a Walrus, the Panzer is probably the way to go.
I'd love to get like a Merc station wagon, but those are expensive.
Sorry, I was thinking Mercury, but you're meaning Mercedes. Yes.
Yeah.
But yes.
Like one of the AMG wagons.
Yeah. So
we need more station wagons. We need less crossovers and more station wagons.
I think that was a Top Gear episode.
It was, and they are still correct.
Anyway, I'm still okay. So I'm getting to get concerned. Well, I don't usually get much of a fever. I've got a fever. I mean, and it's not for the flavor of Pringles either. Well, maybe, but
that you know of.
Not and it stopped eating because it's just right. All my vitals are going crazy. I'm like, I might have to go to the doc because the one thing that the doc can do for me is maybe give me an antibiotic so this doesn't become pneumonia because I'm with my emphysema. And
you're
all the lung damage. By the way, I'm not a smoker, but I got emphysema. It can happen, especially if you're playing with
wear your mask, kids.
Yeah, wear your mask. Don't play with those chemicals. Because chemical pneumonia.
Wear a mask.
Yeah, aspiration pneumonia is a real thing, and it does real damage.
Yes, it does.
So I'm very susceptible to getting pneumonia, and once it sets in, it's very difficult for me to shake it. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe doc will do telehealth, right? But then I got to explain. I'm thinking, I'm just in my head trying to explain how I can't get to the office. And I shouldn't have to explain that to the extent that I'm thinking, right? I'm sick. you're got sick people all over the office. Do you what in what state of mind is it that let's bring in more sick people?
Yeah. I don't get it. I'm immunocompromised. Why are you wanting me to come over?
Right. That's been my thing. In fact, I fought with my new docs. Well, they're not new anymore. My current doctors to make sure that they weren't scheduling any kind of wellness checkup, health checkups, tests, whatever, in the cold and flu season.
Yeah.
And I told them straight up front. I said, I'm not coming in because I've had docs that insist, right? Oh, we got to test you every 3 months because you've got these risk factors. I'm like, but for a decade, everything's been fine. So I'm okay with once a year. So we compromise it every 6 months. But I've had a couple of docs like, no, it's going to be every 3 months, and
every quarter, once a quarter.
Right.
You come in and get your oil changed.
And come in and you're the cash pinata and we're going to whack you. And so invariably, in cold and flu season, I go to the doc and I leave sick, and then I make sure I call them. Is that a couple of days later, sick as a dog, going, "You did this to me.
This is your fault."
Of course, that did lead to a restraining order, but that's another story. So these things were going through I recall going through my addled brain, going, "How am I going to convince the doc to give me a telehealth and get So I'm looking at black market penicillin. It's just these things that you think of. So
who doesn't want some black market penicillin?
Oh my gosh! Oh, there's a Z-Pack from Canada. I'll get that. Whatever. But
yeah, little steroids, a little bit of antibiotics. Good times.
Good times. But as it turns out, it worked out. But it could have been a disaster. I mean, I could have been on an ambulance ride because it's not like I can't walk. I can. It's just
painful.
Well, and it's only for a very short time until I've exercised those joints to the point where they're just sliding open. And then there's walking is no longer an option. Standing isn't even an option. I'm done. Which I've always wondered, like, if I ever have to get in a traffic stop where the cop's like, "Can you step out of the van?" Well,
no.
Yes, but with a couple of caveats.
Well, yes, but actually, no.
I'll be happy to step out of the van, officer, but let me get around back and get my wheelchair out so that, because you're going to have me standing in front of your police car for the next decade, which I can't do.
Field sobriety test.
I'd fail immediately.
So I made you to stand on one leg. I can't even stand on two legs.
That's right. Get out, unload my wheelchair, and like, okay, where do you want me to drive? Walk, whatever. I think most cops would work around that. And I don't drink, let alone drink and drive. So, although I did have a bit of the moonshine this time to help with the fever, and buddy, smooth. But yeah, I always wondered that could be an issue, And there's no way I'm playing YouTube lawyer when the cop rolls up. It's just like, absolutely, officer. I just need to let you know we got a few barriers here to work through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Speaking of cops, I was watching my police shows.
Oh, you're watching your stories again?
Yes, and you and I both watched it, like that police dog, right? I love watching the police dog because, well, they all got different personalities, and it's kind of fun watching the different dogs' reactions to things, right?
Yeah.
So the police, they pull over the janky hoopty, right? And they get the dog out. And, canine officer, he goes to get the dog. Dog's like, all right, woohoo. And he's all happy. Canine officer's all happy. Dog gets down, walks over the car. The officers usually give the dog instructions, right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to go sniff the drugs or whatever. And the dog's already looking at the car. It is a janky hoopty. And the dog's looking back at the officer. He's looking at the car, looking back at the officer. And he's looking at the officer. He's like, "You want me to sniff that?"
You want me to do what now?
And the officer's like, "Okay, we're going to go find drugs." And the dog's like, "Over there? In that? I'm going to have to put my nose in that?"
Yeah.
And so they get the dog's over there. Dog walks straight up to the driver's door, sits down, doesn't even do the sniff, just sits down, looks back at the officers like, "You can't smell that? You telling me you can't smell that? I could smell it from the seat in the back of the car." So he finally coerces the dog to go find drugs. No, find the drugs. And he's like, you know how they tap on different places on the car to get the dog to check here, check here, check here.
Check here, check here, check here.
And the dog's not doing it and looking at the cop like, you seriously can't smell that.
Seriously.
So finally the dog.
Is your nose broken?
So finally the dog gives up, gives it a quick sniff and goes, it's over there. And then beats the officer back to the squad car. Doesn't even wait for his toy. He's just like, okay, sniff. There you go. There's official sniff. Now I'm out of here. Great. And then the dog got his toy. And he's like, he cared more about getting away from the car. So I want to know what's in that car aside from the drugs, which they found.
You don't want to know.
Great supply. Something that even a dog would be like, nope. So that was funny. I just, some things strike me.
No, that's good.
So on that note, we should probably wrap this one up.
Oh yeah, we probably should, huh?
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for coming back, and hope you had a happy Armistice Day.
I think Armistice Day is over. I don't think we celebrate that anymore.
It was something in Armistice. All right. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Right. Thanksgiving. Everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. And it'll be Merry Christmas season soon. And
yes, it will.
So
already in December.
We want everybody to not run yourself crazy getting presents. It's not about what the season's about. And but enjoy the giving, enjoy each other, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Hasta la vista.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos, caballeros. Will you get out of here? Strange, he left by the balcony.
Oh, adios. That's what it is. Maybe I'm having the Vision Quest.
Well, it's involuntary.